Okay, I think we're live. We're gonna find out. Maybe. If we're lucky, we're gonna find out. Let's see. Go to my page. All right, we're live here. No, maybe. I don't know. I think. Yep, on that one. No. Yep, this one too. So, hey, yeah, why don't we check my thing? Okay. Yep. All right. So, I want to thank you for joining me, fellow weird ass black sheep. We are here live on the Jesus Regional Shit Talking Tour slash Wellness Clinic. We are on the search for the real Jesus as we follow him along on this tour. So, we'll be taking notes, except for I'm not taking notes. But if I was to take notes, it'd be on this tour. So hopefully there's a note taker. All right. So I believe we're picking up on chapter 19. They just um I don't know where they just left, but they're on their way to somewhere after he tells them all about themselves. So now he's going on the next day of his tour, which is chapter 19. So we're 19 days into this tour. Let's see. Now, it came to pass when Jesus finished these sayings that he departed from Galilee. That's where he was. He was in Galilee. And he came to the region of Judea. Yeah, but why though? Beyond the Jordan. And great multitudes followed his glowing piles of shit. And he healed them there. And the Pharisees also came to him trying to test him with words, word magic. Learn it. Okay. So they said, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for just any reason? Really, just any reason. Okay. And then Jesus said, no, haven't you read? He who made them from the beginning, right? He made them male and female and said, for this reason, a man will leave his mother and father, and become one flesh. He will cleave to her. And the two shall become one. So then they are no longer two, but one. Therefore, what God has joined together, no man can separate. And they said to him, why then did Moses command to give a certificate of divorce to put her away? And Jesus said, because you motherfuckers wouldn't shut up. You guys want to marry people, divorce people, marry people, divorce people. You can't make up your dicks from a hole in the ground. Listen, things are happening. But God didn't say that. Moses did. But from the beginning, it was not so. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another commits adultery. And whoever marries her who is divorced commits adultery. His disciples said to him, then it's probably better to not get married. And Jesus said, okay, all cannot accept this thing, but only those to whom it has been given. For there are eunuchs who were born this way from their mother's womb. Yeah, but how can a baby be a eunuch, though? That is like seriously a choice. How is a baby a eunuch? Okay. And there are eunuchs who were made eunuchs by men because they got a sexy problem. And there are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs because they can't deal with their internal soul. And some who have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He who is able to accept it, let him accept it. How can a baby be a eunuch, though? I don't know. But okay. Then little children were brought to him that he might put his hands on them and pray. But the disciples rebuked them. But Jesus said, who is you? Are you my ring manager? I don't think you're my manager. You are not my valet. You don't do nothing. You let the babies come. So Jesus laid his hands on them and departed. Now, behold, one came and said, good teacher, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said, why do you call me good? No one is good, but one, that is God. But if you want to enter into life, keep the commandment. And then the dude was like, which ones? All of them, asshole. All of them. Okay. He said, do not commit murder. Do not commit adultery. Don't steal. Don't lie on people. Be nice to your mom and dad. And love your neighbor. And the young man said, I do all this stuff. And then Jesus said, if you want to be perfect, go sell what you have and give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. And then come, follow me. My thing, you just buy me a can of coffee, and you could be part of my crew. Just buy me coffee. Okay, hold on. Okay. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful because he had a lot of shit. He had a PlayStation 5. He said to forget his fugazi. Then Jesus said to his disciples, assuredly, I say to you that it is hard for a rich man to enter heaven. And again, I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Yeah, but what if that rich man comes from God? Does that count? That probably it might not count. I hope it counts. Anyway, when his disciples heard it, they were greatly astonished, saying, who then can be saved? And Jesus was like, nobody. It's completely impossible. No one can do it. But if God's your bestie, you could do it. Gotta make God your bestie. And then it's all good. Give up all your shit and be God's bestie. It's perfect. And then Peter, shut up, Peter. Peter said, look, we gave up everything. What do we have? And Jesus said, nothing, you fat bitch. Sit down. Jesus did not say that. Jesus did not say that. Jesus said, Listen, I'm telling you that in regeneration, when the Son of Man sits on the throne of his glory on Cloud Dolphin, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes. There's not 13. All this motherfucking bullshit. There is not 13. I'm going to shut up. I do not like Paul. He's a lie. Okay. One, and everyone who has left his house, brother, sister, father, mother, wife, children, whatever, you give it up for my sake, shall receive 100-fold and inherit eternal life. But many who are first will be last, and the last will be first. That's Demobogir, progenies of the great apocalypse. Yeah, that's a great song. But this tells you about the line right here. The people who think they're going to be a front of line are going to back of line. And people that think they're going to be in back of line go to front of line. Nikki K the Great in middle of line. I'm I'm in the middle. One side on this side, one side on this side. We have good time. So now we're going to chapter 20. Hold on. Let me. Okay. What does this say? Okay. Oh, yeah. Dustin got his coffee, by the way. He brought his coffee home from work because he's amazing. That's so cool. So we've got fresh coffee. Okay. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. Oh, yeah. Okay. So he goes out in the morning and there's a couple guys out there working. And he's like, you work on my field all day for, 8 hours for like $75. And they're like, oh, yeah. So he goes back out again at lunch and he's like, do you want to work in my field for a couple hours for like 80 or $75? And they're like, yeah. So he goes out one more time and he's like, do you want to work in my field for a couple hours for $75? And they're like, yeah. So all of them get there and they get there at their different times and they're working or whatever. And the people who went there last got paid their 75 first. And it went backwards like that. But the first people were kind of pissed off though because they didn't get paid anymore. And then the dude's like, yeah, but it's my money and I'm giving it to you. You agreed to it, did you not? And they're like, yeah, we kind of agreed to it. So, you know, uh, hold on. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I am doing you no wrong. If you do not agree with me, uh, oh, you did agree with me. Take what is yours and go your way. I wish to give you this last man the same as you. Is it not lawful for me to do what I want with my own money? Or is your eye evil because I am good? So the last will be first, and the first will be last. For many are called, but few are chosen. There was only one chosen to read this book out loud on camera, and it is amazing. Okay. Now, Jesus, going to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples aside on the road and said, "Behold, we are going to Jerusalem, and I am going to be betrayed, and they're going to condemn me to death and deliver me to the Gentiles to mock and scourge and crucify. And the third day," oh, he's talking in third person. "The third day he will rise again." Then the mother of Zebedee's sons, okay, so this is the sons of thunder, she came kneeling down and asking Jesus for something. And he was like, "What you want, yo?" And she said, "I want my sons to sit at your right and your left." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if you want that. But I don't think you guys want that. Like, do you think you could drink the cup that I'm drinking and be baptized the way I'm going to be baptized?" And they was like, "Fuck yeah, dog. We'll do whatever. You will indeed drink my cup and be baptized with what I'm getting baptized with. But to sit by me, I don't make the seating arrangements. Somebody else does. But I'm pretty sure baby angels are going to be on my right and left. So I don't have to choose between you assholes." Do you need me to pause it? Okay. 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 So, wait, okay. And they said to him, okay, no, that's not my choice. And when the other 10 heard this, they were so mad. But Jesus himself said, "You know that the rulers and the Gentiles lord over them, and those who are great exercise authority. Yet it shall not be so among you. Whoever desires to become great, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be first, let him be the slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many." Damn, I wonder, like, what did their faces look like when he was saying this? Because I'm pretty sure I'd have rolled my eyes every single time. Now, as they went out of Jericho, a great multitude followed his shiny pile of shit. And behold, two blind men sitting by the road. When they heard Jesus was passing by, they said, have mercy on us, David." Then the multitude warned them that they should shut the fuck up. So they got way louder. So Jesus stood and said to them, "What the hell do y'all want?" And they said, "We want to see the color pink." "I don't know. I heard it was nice, but I want to see it." "I know it's a girl color." That's what they said. "But I want to see it." So Jesus had compassion and touched their eyes, and immediately their eyes received sight and they followed him. Dun dun dun. Why does everybody like people want to come to Jesus, but then everybody's like, "No, no, 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 no." Isn't that like how it is in life? Like you want to call to Jesus and everybody's like, "Shut up." It's like, no, but that's a good guy to call. All right, how many minutes? I can't. Okay, 19. We're good. Okay, 21. And when they drew near Jerusalem and came to Bethphage at the Mount of Olives, which I swear that's a bar. It has to be a bar. Anyway, then Jesus sent two disciples, saying, hey, there's a donkey over there. Okay? It'll be there. There won't be nobody with it. But if somebody happens to be there, tell them I need it. They won't even give you any problem. Just tell them I need it. And all this was done that it might be fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet. Tell the daughter of Zion, that's the city of David. Wherever the city of David is, that's Zion. You could just go there. Behold, your king is coming to you, which is the city of David. You could just go there. Lowly and sitting on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey. So the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded, and they brought the donkey and the colt, and they sat their clothes on them, and sat him on them. And a very great multitude spread their clothes on the road. Others cut down branches from trees and spread them on the road. And then the multitudes who went before and those who followed cried, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. My mom said it's Baruch Shepadonai. Jew talk for words. And when he had come to Jerusalem, all the city was moved, saying, Who's this? And the multitude said, This is the dude that leaves the glowing piles of shit that we've been following everywhere. His name is Jesus. He's from Nazareth of Galilee. Then Jesus went into the temple of God. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Jesus is backstage at this temple, getting ready to start his finale. So, like, there's a bunch of people inside this church doing some shit they know they shouldn't be doing. And Jesus, seeing all this, goes to the backstage and he starts suiting up, putting his wrestling boots on and his stone cold vest and cracking his neck like he's Batista or Goldberg. Yeah, this is Goldberg, right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, he tells Peter, hit the play button, and then break stuff just start. Dun, dun, dun. And then the next thing you know, Jesus comes out and the disciples come out and they just start rock bottoming and stone cold stunning people and giving them the rock bottom. Some of them even got the pedigree. It was a whole thing. And Jesus was pissed as fuck. And he's like, get all your shit out of my house. Oh, you guys suck. Right. And he's like, there are no refunds. Yeah, tour's over. That's not what he said. Anyway, he's pretty much telling them, like, you guys suck. Get out of here. You're not supposed to be doing this. And then, bam, Stone Cold Stunner. And then Diamond Dallas Page comes out and he's like, Diamond Cutter. It's like a whole thing. And then, okay. Then the blind and lame came to him in the temple and he healed them. And when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things he did, and the vampires crying in the temple, saying, Hosanna, son of David, Barak Shepodonai. They were indignant, and they said to him, do you hear what these are saying? And Jesus was like, yep, and you know exactly why. Out of the mouth of babes and nursing infants, you have perfected praise. Huh? And he left them, mic drop, and went out of the city to Bethany, and he lodged there. Now in the morning, as he returned to the city, he was hungry. This shit gives me post-traumatic stress. Like this really. this It tickles my insides in all the wrong ways because it's like, does everybody skip over this? Wait, look what Jesus did to the fig tree. And then he wants to give you a lesson about a fig tree that's not this fig tree. Is this a thing? Okay. So anyway, Jesus was hangry in the morning, and seeing a fig tree by the road, he came to it and found nothing on it but leaves. And he said, let no fruit grow on you ever again. He literally killed this fig tree because he was hangry. Literally. God, Jesus, Jesus, the hangry. You don't ever want to mess with that guy when he's hungry, I suppose. Wow. Okay. And when the disciples saw it, they never told anybody that Jesus goes around killing empty fig trees. What if somebody picked that fig? You know, did you ever think about it? Somebody might have got there before you. So really, you killed an innocent fig tree. Oh, Jesus, the hangry. Okay. So anyway, when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, wow, he actually killed something. And Jesus answered and said, I ain't kill shit, yo. No, that's not what he said. He said, listen, I'm telling you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what is done to the fig tree, you mean kill it. Is this how the first thing Peter did when Jesus died was killed people? Two of them. So Jesus taught Peter how to kill people. Anyway, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what is done to the fig tree, but also say to this mountain, be removed and cast into the sea, and it will be done. And whatever things you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive. Now, when he came to the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people confronted him as he was teaching, and they said, by what authority are you doing these things? And Jesus is like, I'm going to do the most aggravating thing on the entire planet. I'm going to answer your question with a question. Who baptized John? Who baptized John the Baptist? Was it from God or man? And they reasoned among themselves, saying, if we said from heaven, then he'd be like, why don't you believe him? But if we say men, everybody else is going to kill us. So, we don't know. And then he was like, well, I don't know who can tell who makes me do this stuff either. Sorry, guys. See ya. He's like, but what do you think? A man had two sons, And he came to the first and said, "Go work today in my vineyard." And he said, "Nope." But afterwards, he was like, "Okay." Then he came to the second and asked likewise. And the son was like, "Okay, I'll go," but did not go. This is what my teenagers do. Yeah, I'm going to do something, but they don't do nothing. Hold on. Okay, so he said he would go, but he didn't. Which of the two did the will of his father? And they said to him, "The first." And he said, "Yeah, these tax collectors and whores are going to heaven before you. John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him. But tax collectors and harlots believed him. And when you saw it, you did not afterwards relent and believe. Hear another parable. There was a, okay, yeah, okay. There was a certain vineyard owner, and he got it all real nice and lent it out to some people. And then when the time came to collect what they had grown for him, he sent a dude to go and get it, but they killed him. And the dude was like, "All right, well, I'll try again." So he sent another one and they killed him. And they said, "Surely, if I send my son, they won't kill him." But they said, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and seize his inheritance." So they took him and cast him out of the vineyard and killed him. Therefore, when the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to those vine dressers? And they said, "He will destroy those wicked men miserably and lease his vineyard to other vine dressers." And Jesus said, "Have you read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected becomes the chief cornerstone?" This is what Bob Marley sang in that song. It's not what Jesus said. Jesus said, "This was the Lord's doing, and it was marvelous in your eyes," right? Therefore, I say to you, the kingdom of God will be taken from you and given to a nation bearing the fruits of it. And whoever falls on this stone will be broken. But on whomever it falls, it will grind him to powder. Now, when the chief priests and Pharisees heard this, they perceived that he was indirectly talking shit about them. So they thought to kill him because they were embarrassed because he called them out. But they feared the multitudes because they thought he was a prophet. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Okay. I got to pause right here real quick. I will be right back, I think. Hold on. Is it- Thank you for holding. Okay, so where's my headphone? Okay, we're on chapter 22. And okay, so they were thinking, or they were wanting to kill. In chapter 22, it says, Jesus spoke to them again by parable and said, the kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who arranged a marriage for his son and sent out his servants to call people. Okay, so the first set of people were his friends, and they didn't want to come. So then, um, they didn't want to come. So he sent them back. Wait, where am I at in life? We'll call it the wedding. And they were not willing to come. So he sent out other servants saying, tell all those who are invited, I have prepared a dinner. And all things are ready. Come to the wedding. But they made light of it and went their way to his own farm. And the rest seized his servants and treated them spitefully and killed them. But when the king heard about it, he was furious, and he sent out his armies and destroyed those murderers. Then he said to his servants, the wedding is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. Therefore, go and find as many people as you can find and invite them to the wedding. So everybody that they found, they all gathered together, and the wedding was filled with guests. But the king came to see the guests, and he saw a man there who did not have on wedding garment. And he said, how did you come in here without wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then the king said to the servant, bind him hand and foot and take him away and cast him to the outer darkness. For many are called, but few are chosen. When the Pharisees went and plotted how they might entangle him in his talk, they want to use word magic against him. It's so word magic. Ah, they're always trying to catch Jesus up. They're always trying to catch Jesus up in words because words fucking matter. Hi, Willow. Okay. So anyway, they want to catch Jesus up in his talking. Okay. And they sent him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, teacher, we know you are true and teach the way of God. And you don't really care for anyone. You do not regard one person. Tell us, therefore, is it lawful to pay Caesar taxes or not? Here we go. Jesus, God level troll. All right. And Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, why do you test me, you assholes? Show me the tax money. And they brought him a quarter, and he said, whose image and inscription is this? And they were like, Caesar's. And he said, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And when they heard these words, they marveled and they left because God leveled troll. That same day, the Sadducees, who said there was no resurrection. Here we go. Here's where we find out about angels. Okay. So they don't believe in resurrection, they said. Moses said if a man dies having no children, her her brother must his brother must marry her and have his children. Suppose there were seven and none of them have kids. So when the woman dies in the resurrection, whose wife will she be? For they all had married her. And Jesus said, you are mistaken, not knowing the scripture or the power of God. For in the resurrection, they neither marry or are given in marriage, but are like angels of God in heaven. But concerning the resurrection, have you not read what was spoken by God, saying, I am the God of Abe, Isaac, and Jake? God is not the God of the dead, but the living. And when the multitudes heard this, they were astonished. But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. Then one of them, a lawyer, of course, is a lawyer, asked him, testing him, saying, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Here we go. We know what Paul said. What does Jesus say? And he said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. Heart, soul, mind. The mind is so important. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor. On these two commandments hang the law and the prophets. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, what do you think about the Christ? Whose son is he? And they said, he's the son of David. And he said, how? When David calls him Lord. And if you're calling someone Lord, they're older than you. Then David, um, and no one was able to answer him a word, nor from that day did anyone dare ask him any more questions. Yeah. Oh, go ahead and comment and tell me what you're thinking. What's going on? What do you think? And we're going to go on to chapter 23. Well, how many minutes are we at? 44. Okay. 23. Then Jesus spoke to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Therefore, observe whatever they tell you to observe. Observe and do, but do not do according to their works. For they say and do not do. They talk about it, they don't be about it, son. Gonna talk about it, be about it. Okay. For they bind heavy burdens hard to bear and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one finger. But all their works they do to be seen by men. They have bad character. They make their phylacteries broad and enlarge the borders of their garments. Oh, yeah, that's the snake thing on their forehead. It's like a little accordion paper, and they put it on their forehead. So apparently, they make these things themselves, very long and very large. You know, it's their forehead peanut. Okay. They love the best places at feasts, the best seats in synagogues, greetings in the markets, and to be called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But you do not be called Rabbi, for one is your teacher, La Christe, and you are all brothers. Do not call anyone on earth your father, for one is your Father, he who is in heaven. And do not be called teachers, for one is your teacher, La Christe. But he who is greatest among you is the servant, and whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Wild man. But woe. Oh, here we go. God, man. Okay. This is so woe to you. I'm only going to say this one time. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, assholes. You shut up the kingdom of heaven against, you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For you neither go in yourselves, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. That's what I said. Paul came over here and spread this Christianity bullshit the exact way to not love God because they don't want anybody to know God. And Jesus is telling you right here, don't believe these people. You devour widows' houses for a pretense, make long prayers, so you receive greater condemnation. You travel land and sea to win one proselyte, and when he is won, you make him twice as much of a son of hell as yourself. Exactly. Exactly. That is the whole point of Paul. The whole point of Paul right here is everything Jesus is saying. He's predicting Paul. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, whoever swears by the temple, it is nothing. Whoever swears by the gold of the temple, he is obliged to perform it. Huh, you blind, dumb fools. Which is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifies the gold? And whoever swears by the altar, it is nothing. But whoever swears by the gift that is on the off that gift that is on the altar, he is obliged to perform it. Fools, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifies the gift? Therefore, he who swears by the altar swears by it, and by all things on it. He who swears by the temple swears by it, him who dwells in it. And he who swears by heaven swears by the throne of God and him who sits on it. You pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin. Hey, that anise, if you can find anise, it's good for toothache. Uh, for you pay tithe of mint, anise, cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy, faith. These you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. No, they're greedy. They do not give a shit. You blind guides who strain a gnat out of a swallow of a. Oh! You blind assholes who strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. You idiots. Look, you cleanse the outside of the cup and the dish, but the inside they are full of extortion and self indulgence. First, cleanse the inside of the cup and the dish, that the outside of them may also be clean. You are like whitewashed tombs, which indeed appear beautiful outwardly, but inside are full of dead men's bones and all kinds of uncleanliness. Even so, you also outwardly appear righteous to men, but inside you are full of bullshit because you build the tombs. No, because you build the tombs of the prophets and adorn the monuments of the righteous, and say, if we have lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers. Yes, you would have. You would have been the first ones there. You'd have been best friends with Jezebel, you Satan worshippers. Therefore, you are witnesses against yourselves that you are sons of those who murdered prophets. Fill up then the measure of your father's guilt. Serpent, brood of vipers, how can you escape the condemnation of hell? Therefore, indeed, I send you prophets, wise men, scribes. Some of them you kill and crucify. Some of them you will scourge in your synagogues and persecute from city to city, that on you may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah. We're getting there, don't worry. Son of Bircha, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. We're going to get there. That's a hell of a story. Assuredly, I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks, but you were not willing. See, your house is left to you desolate. For I say to you, you shall see me no more until you say, Baruch Shep Adonai. Something like that. Anyway, we're going to end right there. Where did we leave off? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're going to end right there. The end of chapter 23. So I want to thank all of you who watched. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you and I love you. So I hope you enjoyed it. Come back tomorrow, press like and subscribe. We'll have such a